Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wellness Lifestyle series. I am so excited today to get on here and talk to you about a topic that is so near and dear to my heart, and it's reducing toxic load. Many of us are aware, or at least we're becoming more aware, of the toxins that surround us on a daily basis. But what do we really do about them? Today's class is going to be all about reducing the toxic load and how to detox when it's something that's unavoidable, which it is in a lot of cases. So I'm so excited to talk about this. But before we get started, if you haven't yet, definitely jump on the website and check out the rest of the Wellness Lifestyle series. I've already done a bunch of different classes talking about eating right, exercise, rest and sleep, along with just recently an emotional wellness class too. So definitely check those out because I will be referencing a couple of those classes throughout the class today. But let's get started. So where do you find toxins? Where are they? What are these crazy little things that are constantly being talked about? There's a couple different places that you're going to find the most common toxins in our lives on a daily basis. So there's environmental toxins, and these can be found in so many different places, including air and water pollution. You're going to find pesticide pollution along with synthetic fragrance too. That's a big one. We'll talk about that a little more in a second. Food toxins. This one is something that's we're definitely starting to realize more and become more aware of, which is great, but it's also really terrifying. These two categories, both food and water, we depend on to live, and now we're being told that there's things in it that kill us. It's so hard to wrap your mind around. So what do I mean by food toxins, though? I'm talking about GMOs, preservatives, and processed foods. Those are two big ones, especially. Like I said, though, there's also water toxins. This one is crazy. We have to have water to survive, and yet our water is filled with fluoride, it's filled with heavy metals, pesticides, and pharmaceutical drugs, just to name a few. Doesn't sound too great, right? And then you add on plastics and everything else, and it's just a nightmare. But that's a whole nother topic. But like I mentioned, one of the things that you find in water, and a lot of people aren't even aware of this, is pharmaceutical drugs. Isn't that crazy? So a lot of people might not really understand how that happens, but a lot of times, how you get pharmaceutical drugs in the waterways is you think of when people used to say, oh, well, I don't know if they used to say it. I don't know. You used to always hear, at least, about people talking about just flushing drugs if they were expired or they didn't want them anymore. Oh, just flush them. Well, unfortunately, although that takes care of the situation at the time, for whatever reason you don't want those drugs, they go into our water system, they dissolve, which they do like in your stomach, but our filtration systems aren't capable of actually filtering out all of the pharmaceutical drugs. So what happens is it ends up staying in our waterways and eventually coming back to us. So kind of crazy, right? But back to the pharmaceutical drugs. So I know this is a big topic, and let's just get it over with. All right, we're going to say it. Like it or not, the majority of drugs, or dare I say all, really are toxic in a way. Hear me out. Don't get mad at me yet. Why else would you have an entire, I wouldn't even say pamphlet, but book sometimes that comes with every single drug to tell you all the side effects? Whether it's a book or they offer you one at the, my gosh, I can't think of pharmacy. You're offered that every single time because there's so many side effects to every single drug if it's not prescribed right, and even if it is prescribed right. But hear me out again. I know all the pharmaceutical police are out there thinking, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Just hold on. I'm not saying by any means are all drugs horrible, unnecessary, and bad. I completely understand and realize that the pharmaceutical industry is needed and useful to survive in some cases. But I'm also going to say that it is heavily, heavily abused by both the patients and the prescribers. I actually just took a course on toxins and the pharmaceutical industry recently, and I thought it was really interesting because one of the some of the information that was on there, one of the things really stuck out to me because I can think of a few people that fall into this, is over 28% of women and 22% of men over the age of 65 are on at least 5 medications. So take a second, think about yourself, a family member, a parent, grandparent. Think about it. Are they on more than 5 medications if they're over 65? You're most likely going to say yes. I can think of a good handful that I know that are. So why is this? How does this happen? What's going on? So usually the number of medications is really linked to side effects. And I talk about this all the time, guys, all the time. And I've talked about it in a couple of my previous classes. So what do I mean by that? I mean that one day you're prescribed drug A to help with high blood pressure, which then gives you a side effect. So you need to take drug B to help with that side effect from the drug A, which 5 years later gives you another side effect, and you end up going on drug C. And this continues and just keeps going. And each time you're just covering up side effects one after another, and you're never actually fixing the original cause, the reason why you got drug A. So you end up on 5+ medications, you're 20 years deep into all these different drugs, and really, the only reason you're on all this is because 20 years ago you had a headache. So you just decided to take your prescription drug. Crazy, right? Not something that I really want to look into. Not look into, but I don't really want to do in the future. On top of that, another thing that really spoke to me, and this will be the last statistic because you guys know I've talked about this before in my other classes. I really don't like going over statistics, but these were some that like really stuck to me. Did you know that over 100,000 people die yearly due to properly, that's the key word, properly prescribed drugs? That alone, if that doesn't have you like running and screaming, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the fact that a single dose of antibiotic can cause permanent damage to your gut, which has also been linked to be one of the most important parts of your body for your health. Crazy. Now you're probably thinking, if you're an 80s baby like myself, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I pretty much drank amoxicillin nonstop. I don't even remember when I started, but amoxicillin was pretty much like the drug of choice. Like, oh, you sneezed? Let's get you some bubblegum amoxicillin. Oh, you stubbed a toe? Oh, amoxicillin will fix that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you were born in the 80s, it's crazy. But anyways, we're going to talk about supporting your gut and really getting back on track in the case that you were one of those 80s and maybe the 90s babies. I'm not sure if they completely shut off the amoxicillin supply at that point, but yeah. But the last thing I want to just touch on really quick is body care toxins, guys. This one makes me cringe. Your body absorbs toxins quicker than when you digest them, which is crazy because we're always talking about eating healthy and doing the right thing and drinking water. And while you're eating healthy and drinking the water, you're putting on toxic chemicals onto your body or spraying them into the air. Pretty wild, right? So just spent about 9 minutes telling you guys about all of the horrible things in the world. And I'm going to throw one last thing at you. And that's, you cannot avoid these toxins, guys. You can't. I'm sorry to say that. I wish I was doing a class about how to avoid toxins 100%. But you cannot while living, not even in the modern world, in the world, you can't avoid them. So the best thing that you can do is limit them and detox from them if you're exposed. So with that said, we're going to be talking about detox tips. I'm going to be going a couple different things that I do personally and just overall suggestions to really help your body detox or prevent it from being exposed to toxins in general. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be diet. So what do I mean by the diet? I don't mean overhauling your entire diet and starting brand new. By no means do I do that. I don't think that's a good way to do your diet, anyways, because we all know that if you just decide tomorrow that you're going to eat in a completely different way, it's probably not going to go well. You're probably going to fall off the bandwagon. So, what do I mean? Cut or limit processed foods. This includes sugars, meat, dairy, and grains. So, a lot of people are probably thinking, well, why do I have to cut out all these things? Sugars are extremely bad for your gut, and it's actually, I want to say it's 70 or 75. I meant to look this up, but I didn't. Oops. 70-75%, that actually decreases your immune system when you're ingesting sugar. So sugar is pretty much one of the worst things that you can do if you have a compromised immune system, which is why it is heavily suggested if you have like an autoimmune disease or if you have cancer or you're going through any form of really heavy treatment for any reason, that you really completely cut out sugars, because that can really compromise your immune system. Another thing that I put on here is meat. So no, I'm not saying that every single person that listens to this needs to go vegan, but it has been proven, whether you like it or not, that ingesting meat, especially if it's not a clean sourced meat, can be very toxic to your body. Animals are constantly being exposed to toxins, whether it's in their food or the drugs that they are getting, which is then being put into your body. So definitely be aware if you decide that you do want to continue eating meat. Be aware of what meat you're getting, and get quality meat. That's my biggest suggestion. Same goes with dairy. Whatever goes into the animal's body is going to be going into your body, and like it or not, dairy isn't meant for the human body unless it's breast milk, and hopefully anybody watching this is not drinking breast milk, because that's a whole other topic. The last thing is grains. So grains really contribute to a lot of inflammation, and inflammation can cause a lot of different diseases and be very toxic to your body. So it's good to make sure that you're limiting grains. So what do you do? What do you need to look for? You really need to strive for a more whole foods diet. So no processed foods, no packaged foods, really looking for that fresh ingredients. One of the things that I do suggest, and is always suggested when you're starting to really overhaul your diet, is to start small. So start with one meal a day, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or even snacks. Start to implement a healthier lifestyle that way, and slowly get to a point where you just completely overhaul. Another thing, and I spent an entire class talking about this, is supplement. I'm not going to get into this a lot because, like I said, I did talk a lot about it in a previous class, but it's impossible for us to actually get the same nutrition out of the earth that our ancestors did. We're completely overpopulated, and the crops are just not as nutritionally dense as they were before. So it's imperative that you do supplement to an extent to really make sure that your body's not only surviving, but it also can thrive too. And lastly, detox. So if you have been living a very high sugar, meat dense, dairy, grain, fast food, processed, you name it, life, one of the best things that you can do for your body is really just cleanse and detox, and really help kickstart a whole new lifestyle and get you on the right track. I'm not going to talk about a specific cleanse plan on this class presentation, but I will post a suggestion that doTERRA actually has that's really cool. It includes, I think, yeah, it's a 30-day plan, and it includes essential oils, like lemon essential oil, which is great. We'll talk about that a little later. And also includes the zendecrine oil, which helps just filter the toxins out of your system that you've been holding on to. The next thing I want to talk about is digestion. So this kind of goes along with what I was just talking about, lemon, but we're going to go a little more into it. So what do I mean by this? Diet and digestion really go hand in hand, so I wasn't sure if I even wanted to separate them, but although it may seem really simple, it's not always easy to get your digestion 100%, even with a well-balanced diet, because there's always those days that stuff is a little different. So one of the best things that you can do, and a lot of people hear about this, is probiotics. I'm sure at this point you've probably heard about probiotics a time or two. You can get them in anything from yogurt to like different fermented foods too, which is pretty cool. But if you're not able to get it that way, or if you want a little extra, you can actually use doTERRA has a probiotic called PB Assist, and it actually includes a prebiotic and a probiotic. I go over all of this as well in the eating right class, but I'll briefly overview. So prebiotics are food ingredients that induce the growth and activity of beneficial microorganisms, and probiotics are the actual live microorganisms that provide health benefits when consumed. They help balance out the good bacteria when you have daily use of them. They also help restore good bacteria after antibiotic use. So probiotics are amazing if you do have to take an antibiotic. Like I said, I am not 100% against pharmaceutical drugs. So when it is needed, I completely understand. It's good to have a plan to really help your body detox and just thrive after going through that. Probiotics also help with anxious feelings and compromised immune system, infections, seasonal threats. I always think that's really interesting. Bowel movements in general, and being irregular too. But of course, if you want more information about digestion, I highly, highly suggest that you pop onto my site and watch or read. You can actually either or. The Eating Right class, I go over a lot of this in that. The next thing is water, guys. I know this is what everybody dreads. No one likes to drink water. Water, to say the least, is kind of annoying. I can't stand drinking water, but I do. If you're not sure how much to drink, though, the best way that you can figure this out is you want to drink half of your body weight in ounces every day. So what this means is if you weigh 150 pounds, divide that by 2, you should be drinking about 75 ounces of water daily. Some things that I suggest when it comes to water, though, you want to make sure you're drinking quality water. So get a quality filtration system. There's, of course, like the Britas and stuff like that, but they've been proven not to get out all the toxins. If you're just getting started and you need something, definitely they're better than nothing. But there's anything up to like the Berkey, which is known for being one of the best filtration systems. Get a water bottle too. Make sure it's glass or metal, because one of the other suggestions that I have is use a certified pure therapeutic grade oil, not one that you find at Walmart. Do not use those oils. I am talking specifically about doTERRA, but use a citrus oil in your water. It makes a world of difference, guys. I personally am obsessed with tangerine and grapefruit right now, which both help with your metabolism and detox. They make the water taste great too. So I really suggest that for water, but get your water intake up, because that's going to help so many different things. It's going to help your body flush toxins, and it's also going to help with inflammation too, which again, like I mentioned, can be really toxic to your body just in general. Another thing that kind of goes along with this is going to be juicing and smoothies. I love smoothies. I love juicing too. But smoothies are my thing. They're my go-to. They're my easy fix, especially in the morning. It's really great because you can try so many different things, and it's so easy to figure, like, I don't know, it's just so easy to do. So try different fruits and vegetables that are high in nutrients, such as apples, beets, any type of green. I love throwing in like a handful of spinach, or kale into my smoothies. Everybody's like, ew, it's green. 9 times out of 10, I can't even taste it. Carrots are another great thing because they're sweet, so they still have that like fun sweet taste. And then of course citrus fruits too. So those are some great things that you can do when you're juicing. And then you can also make smoothies too. And I always hesitate to talk about smoothies because everybody's like, oh, everybody in their shakes. Guys, there's actually some legit reasons to do a shake, and it's a really great thing to look into. Of course, I do not recommend that you completely overhaul your diet and only drink smoothies and shakes. Absolutely not. But I always start my day every single morning with one, and I love it. So doTERRA actually has the trim shake and the V shakes. The only difference between those two is the V shake is actually their vegan version. It's a pea protein, where the trim shake is not vegan, but they're a great alternative. I usually do them with a couple drops of essential oil, either, like I said, the grapefruit and tangerine I'm obsessed with right now, and then I also like this lemon sassy blend because it has peppermint and ginger in it, so it's a great kick and a metabolism boost in the morning to kind of get me going. But it's great to have those two things in your life, especially the juicing, because you're going to be getting all those nutrients from all those whole foods, again going back to that. And the smoothies are great too, if long oh, excuse me, as long as you're picking a brand that has really great nutrients in it and isn't just fillers. It's a wonderful thing to do for either a meal substitute or if you're looking for a snack substitute too. It's great to use them with water, or almond milk is a really great thing too, because you really want to make sure that you're watching the calorie content in that, because you don't want to be making a smoothie and shake that actually is doing more harm than good, even though any smoothie or juice is going to be better than going to McDonald's. So the next thing I want to talk about is oral health. So I don't know. Do people know about this? I feel like a lot of people don't know a lot about oral health other than you need to brush your teeth. But there's so many toxins in our products. It's crazy. And I have to thank a previous job of mine for really bringing this to light to me, because some of you may know and some of you may not, depending on who you are, if you've been following me along for a while. I worked for Lush Cosmetics for a few years, and one of the environmental campaigns that we did was about microbeads. Have you heard about them? Because if you haven't, they're terrifying. Until about a few years ago, our toothpaste and our body care, so it's not just toothpaste, were actually filled with these microscopic plastic beads. Yes, plastic beads in your toothpaste. Do you remember? You may remember, like a couple of years back, there was like, what was that brand? I think it's Aqua something. They were like clear gel toothpaste, and there's these little blue beads throughout them. Yeah, those didn't dissolve. No. You're actually brushing your teeth with plastic, which you were either then digesting and or spitting out in the sink, and it was going into our water system. Crazy, right? Absolutely disgusting. So these microbeads, and this is a whole nother topic, but just look it up. It's crazy. So these microbeads would go into our wildlife. Our fish would eat them. You would then ingest them if you were eating fish, or they would start to hurt fish, and it's nuts. But on top of that, it was also going into your digestive tract. Crazy, right? Or going in your gums. There's a lot of cases where people were having teeth or gum issues and finding out later that it was because microbeads were stuck in their gums. Wild. So this really brings up the next question. What else is in our oral care that we can't even see? And what do we do about it? So one of the best things that you can do for yourself is switch to natural ingredients, natural ingredient based routine. This it will help your teeth in so many different ways and also help the environment too. doTERRA has an amazing line of different items for oral health care, including their On Guard natural whitening toothpaste that they've had for a while, and they also have a brand new On Guard mouthwash too, which tastes amazing. I actually just used it. Another thing that's really great for your oral health is going to be oil pulling. So this is a really great way to take a more proactive approach on your oral health. What you can do is there's multiple different ways that you can really do this, but one of the ways that I personally love to do it is to take about a quarter cup of coconut oil, not fractionated, so it's the stuff that actually gets hard, and then do about 1 to 2 drops of peppermint oil, or you can do 1 to 2 drops of On Guard. I personally love the On Guard. Mix that up and then separate it into mini ice cube trays and freeze it. Once it's frozen, you can actually pop them out into another container just to store them in the freezer. And then whenever you want to do the oil pulling, you just grab one, pop it in your mouth, swish it around for 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, you heard me right. And then once you're done, what's going to happen is the coconut oil is going to really help pull all the toxins out of your mouth, which is really interesting. There's some really awesome articles about it. And then once you're done, you want to discard it in the trash, guys, not in the sink, because remember how it was hard in the refrigerator? Yeah, it's going to get hard in your sink. So you want to spit it out in your trash. That's all you have to do. And then it's really great to follow afterwards with like a saltwater rinse, or you could even use the On Guard mouthwash too. It's pretty interesting. So the last thing that I want to talk about super quick is going to be, you ready? Body care and fragrance. Oh, this one hurts the heart, doesn't it? We all love our pretty smelling things, and I think this topic is such a interesting topic, I guess, for me to talk about, of all people, because if you are familiar with me, I worked in a now known to be more toxic cosmetic company for almost 10 years. Pretty wild. Actually, a little under 10 years. 8? Oh, I don't know. Around 8 years. I worked for a popular body care and bath company. So it blows my mind to think of all the toxins that I was around every day. So what do I mean by body care and fragrance? So many people just think of lotions and body sprays. There's so much more to that, guys, and that's why I really wanted to talk about this. So I'm talking about laundry. Laundry is a huge thing. Know what is in your laundry detergent first and foremost. Look at those ingredients. One of the best things that you can do is download the Think Dirty app. I love, love, love this app. I keep it on my phone so that when I'm in the middle of Target and I find something new and I'm like, ooh, what's this? I can scan the barcode really quick and instantly, if it's cosmetics, body care, home fragrance, anything like that. I don't really buy home fragrance. There's really no reason with oils. But I'm just saying, like, if you're in the store, have your Think Dirty app, scan something, look at it. It's going to grade every single item that's in their database. I believe it's from 1 to 10 on a toxic level. I can guarantee when you're going down that laundry aisle, probably every single thing down that laundry aisle is going to be in the red zone and probably close to a 10. There's so many chemicals, not only in your laundry detergent, but if you have dryer sheets in your house right now, do me a favor. Pause this. Go get them and throw them away, guys. There has been so many articles written and so much research around dryer sheets that have proven that they straight up have chemicals that cause cancer. Hands down, no questions asked. They are filled with carcinogens like crazy. So what can you do? Get some dryer balls. You can get wool ones. There's also some vegan options. Those things are amazing. You can use them. They cut down your dryer time. They're not full of toxins. And it's really awesome because you can pop a couple drops of essential oil on them, pop them in the dryer, and you're good to go. You have clothes that are drier faster, which means you cut down on your bills. And they smell amazing still. And your clothes aren't filled with chemicals. So it's kind of a win-win. Another thing, and a lot of people are starting to become more aware of this, is home fragrance. Guys, home fragrance is horrible. Whether I am talking about plugins, sprays, and yes, this one hurts. It hurts so bad. Candles. Oh, I know. I loved my candles. Loved them so hard. Plugins and sprays, you are just filling the room full of just toxic synthetic fragrance. There's so many options that you can do. You can put together a spray bottle. I post this all the time. You can put together a spray bottle full of a couple essential oils, some witch hazel, and water, and you can switch it up as much as you want, and you have a room spray. Plugins, you don't need those things. You have a diffuser. Grab your diffuser, put a couple oils in there, and you're good to go. Same with the candles too. There are some clean candles available, but it's so hard to know and trust exactly who's making them and if they're the right choice. So why not just use a diffuser? Diffusers save you so much money too. It's crazy. When you look at the price per drop when it comes to essential oils, it goes from a couple pennies up to like a quarter. And really, when you diffuse, you only need a couple drops. So it's pretty wild the amount of money that you can save when it comes to using diffuser first candles. And the last thing is body care. So much of our body care is filled with chemicals. So it's really important to limit that and completely um, get rid of the toxic stuff in your life. And I know that's so much easier said than done. And I have probably been on a good 4-ish year journey on eliminating the body care toxins in my life. And I say that because I also don't like to waste the things. And I had some pretty amazing products that I used in my life a couple of years back. I had the perfect foundation. I had amazing smelling body care, but you know what? They were all filled with toxins. So I slowly started testing different things and trying stuff and going online and reading reviews. And over time, I've actually been able to eliminate all toxins. So my makeup line that used to be easily like an 8, 9 on the Think Dirty app is a 1. All of my facial products are from doTERRA when it comes to washes and cleansers and lotions, and all of my makeup products that I use I actually get off from Etsy from a woman that makes them by hand, so out of all natural ingredients. So it takes a little work, guys, but it's totally worth it because when you think about all the toxins that you're eliminating from your life, it's really an amazing thing that you are capable of doing. You are more than capable of doing. There's so many resources out there that you can truly do it. And it's going to take work, but it's a lot less work to cut out the toxins now than to deal with all the side effects and diseases that will follow if you continue on that path. So, what are some ways that you can really help this lifestyle? What are some things that are really going to kickstart you into a more natural life? Let's talk about them. So, one of the amazing ways that you can get started when it comes to overhauling and just reducing the toxic load in your life and using doTERRA products to help you with this is you can actually grab some really truly amazing member kits, and these kits are going to have so many things that we talked about today, but the great thing is you're actually going to get the membership, so you get 25% off all of your purchases, whether it's these items in the kits or something else. You're also going to get community, so you're going to get a community of people that are going to have more information about this on a daily basis, and a community that you are really welcomed into and invited to ask questions and really grow on this information. One of the kits that I absolutely love is the Cleanse and Restore kit. So this kit is something that is amazing for anybody that's really going through a hard time digestion wise, energy wise, or you just know that you gotta start eating right, or you gotta get your body back to the start. So in this kit, you're actually going to get the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which I talk about a ton in the Eating Right class. This pack is amazing. You're going to have so many different nutrients in here. And this is what I was really talking about before with supplementing. These are the 3 basic supplements to really get you to that, from that I'm surviving mode to I'm thriving and I'm really getting all that I need. You're going to have omegas in this. You're going to have the CRS plus, which is going to be a cellular complex, and you're also going to have a food nutrient complex in there too. That's all going to work together to fill in the gaps. You're going to get lemon essential oil, which I mentioned earlier, a great detox oil overall. Such a great thing to have, especially when you want to start upping your water intake too. You're also going to have the Zendocrine line, which is a detoxification complex. So it's great for just helping filter out the system. And it's also part of the 30-day cleanse that I had mentioned will be on the blog too. And then you're going to have a few other products, including one of the digestive support supplements, which is Digestive Zen. And it's really just great for all these products to work together. And I'm not going to get a lot into them because that's honestly like a whole nother class. But every single one of these oils is actually part of the 30-day cleanse, which, like I said, will be on the blog, so you can really look more into that. And of course, if you want to do that 30-day cleanse, reach out to me. I will guide you through it and help you and really show you how you can complete that and really help your overall health with a great, amazing cleanse. The next kit, and I talked about this kit from the very first class. I told you guys I am going to talk about this class almost every single class, and it's back. The Natural Solutions Kit. Guys, if you're looking to overhaul the toxins in your life and get them out, this is the kit. So you're going to get a whole arsenal of essential oils that are going to be great for daily use and help you eliminate the toxins that you're using. You're also going to get body care items. You're going to get shampoo and conditioner. You're going to get the LLV line, which I just talked about, the supplements. You're going to get a whole package full of On Guard items. So you're going to get toothpaste, hand soaps, soft gels. This is it, guys. You're going to get everything that you really need to use on a daily basis to overhaul your life and get those toxins out. So those are two kits that you can actually get if you want to become a member. But if you already are a member and you're like, I already have those kits, or I want something a little extra, I want to try something new, one of the great kits, and it's newer to doTERRA, is the Daily Habits Kit. This one is really, really special. So you're going to get 5 different essential oils that are really great to use on a daily basis. You're going to get the Deep Blue Rub, which is great for muscle tension, any aches, joint pain. And then you're also going to get the Lifelong Vitality Packs, along with the probiotic, PB Assist, and the Terrazyme, which is going to help with digestion too. So these are all great things that we talked about previously that you can implement into your life with the Daily Habits Kit. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Total Spa Kit. If you have a ton of toxins in your life when it comes to body care, this is a great kit to overhaul them. I love this kit. You're going to get a body cream, a body butter, a facial mask. I love the facial mask, guys. I live for it. It's a detox mask and it smells and feels so wonderful. You're going to get the shower gel. I use it every single day. Hand lotion, bar soap, body scrub, which is hands down the most magical body scrub I have ever used. And you're going to get 3 lip balms too. So it's really a great base to get started with that natural wellness, which I love, love, love. So guys, you listened to me ramble on about toxins and survived. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today and welcome you to the start of really overhauling your life. I think it is wonderful if you've gotten to this point where you're really starting to question the toxins. I think it's one of probably the hardest things to really come to terms with is like, oh, these toxins are in my life. I need to do something and really understand that it can be overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be. There are solutions. There are easier ways. You can do this without a doubt. But if you guys were watching this and you have any questions or you're ready to grab that membership and grab some of those things and really overhaul your life, send me a message, whether it's Instagram or via email, whatever it is. We can talk more about it and really help you get to the point where you're not fearing all those toxins and you're on your path to a more natural, better wellness. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will speak to all of you soon.